Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today is more of an old school Geografifa video where I'll be telling you about 7 things you should really know before you even play a minute of EA Sports FC. I made a similar video to this one for FIFA 23 and it seemed quite popular and helpful to a lot of people, so hopefully you really enjoyed this year's one as well. So let's get started, and the first thing I think you should really know is about youth development and how player training has changed for this game. So last year, the biggest change was that you didn't have to play training every week if you wanted your players to develop, and this year, the biggest change is that you can now invest money in coaches. The better the coaches, the faster your players will improve. Of course, most people never used to train every single week anyway, but this change is going to make things a lot more realistic and honestly give you another little money sink, so you're not going to get these massive budgets in career mode anymore. You can also switch between sharpness and fitness for every single player, which means that your reserves and substitutes won't be useless for 3 games every single time you want to bring them back into the starting 11. Training plans can be assigned either individually, so that's per player, or you can do it to groups of players, which includes the starting 11, substitutes and reserves, which makes this a way better solution to player development, and it's a really good way of keeping players sharp even when you aren't using them. I haven't actually played enough seasons in the beta to tell you if player development is overpowered this year, but usually with changes like this, they will be quite overpowered for at least the first 2 games. So this also helps with our second thing you should know, which is to try and avoid improving too fast at the start of your career mode saves. A career mode can be up to 15 seasons long, and there's no point signing that 75 rated Mexican free agent while you're still in League 2, just to go unbeaten and have the Mexican guy score 55 goals. You should really take your time and try and enjoy the process of rising up the leagues, slowly strengthening your squads, and maybe adding challenges if you think the game is too easy, or going down in difficulty if it's getting too hard. While you're at it, I'd also recommend that you limit the amount of free agents you're signing as well. Both of these things can really help you avoid improving too fast, and that will make the game a lot more challenging, a lot more fun, and you'll be able to spend more seasons enjoying the team that you've built. While you're talking about building a team, the AI still is really bad at doing this. I've played the beta quite a bit, and so have a lot of people on our Discord, and we'll all agree that the AI is still making the same mistakes when it comes to signing players. You'll see squads where they either have absolutely no one in a certain position, or they'll go out and sign 10 left backs. You can kind of fix this if you have a second controller or a keyboard if you're playing on PC. You can switch the keyboard to be on the AI side, you can fix their team before the start of the match, and then you can have a bit more fun playing against a functional squad. Tactical styles are a new thing on EA Sports FC, and they kind of help with this because the AI is actually able to sign players that fit into their chosen tactics. I've seen some bizarre things on career mode over the years. I've seen a team with Giroud running in behind while Ben Yedder was the target man. Hopefully the changes to tactical styles and scouting will actually help the AI to be a bit more of a threat long term and give you a bit more of a challenging and dynamic opponent. So while we talk about tactical plans, you should also know that everyone enjoys career mode in their own way. So before you actually open EA Sports FC, or even before you buy it, have a think about what you'd like to do during your first save. Set yourself some goals and objectives so that you always have a target in mind, otherwise your save can get old pretty fast. Some of my favourite career modes over the past couple of years have been based around doing certain objectives. Some of you might have watched my Pentagon Challenge series I uploaded earlier in this year, or my more recent Mega Career where each episode I give myself a specific challenge to try and beat. This can make the game fun even into Season 8 or Season 9. So if you're using these and also using the new tactical styles to create a tactical vision, you can easily use Moneyball thanks to the new scouting filters as well. Why not see if you can turn Man City into a long ball team or make a super high pressing Italian team, which I don't think there's actually that many teams in Italy that play like that. If you combine the tactical styles with giving yourself certain objectives, either playing in a certain league, a certain team or a certain style, then I think you've got that instant start of a really good and fun career mode. You should also know that isn't actually a huge amount of randomness in career mode. Of course, they have added some new features, player interactions kind of do this, but not in a big enough way, so most of the time you will be managing a stable club. Storylines are a great way of adding a bit of unpredictability to the game, and there are tons of them out there, including my own generator, which is in the link below, but you can look on Instagram, look on Twitter, look on Reddit. If you just search in FIFA storylines, you'll get a ton of different mini challenges that you can do. There can be things like dropping a certain player, or signing someone, making someone captain, maybe not playing someone for a certain amount of games for a certain reason. These mini scenarios really can add a bit of randomness and unpredictability into your save, which I think is actually a really cool idea. You should also know that winning isn't everything. Career mode can be more fun when you're fighting for points rather than crushing every opponent 6-0. I always recommend you go into competitive leagues where you'll have multiple teams fighting for titles or continental competitions, whereas leagues like Scotland are really only 2-horse races. You can still have lots of fun in these leagues if you're playing someone like Hearts, Hibs or Dundee, but if you can accept not winning the title for the first couple of years, you will have sort of an end boss there with Rangers and Celtic. There's a lot of very interesting leagues out there, which unfortunately aren't the most competitive. Of course, you have France, which is fun if you're playing as anyone other than PSG, but you also have Norway, Sweden, Denmark. I'm sure some people would even say that England is now in a situation with Manchester City, where there's just one team that isn't fun to play, while any of the other teams are actually a lot more fun, just because you won't be winning every single match. I've had loads of fun saves with teams where I've tried to qualify for Europe with bad teams. Even a 7th place finish can be fun if you pick the right team and the right challenge. I'd recommend doing something like turning the difficulty 1 level up, picking Luton, and seeing if you can actually manage to survive. While some of the games at the start might be a bit of a blowout, you might be losing 6 or 7-0, if you do it throughout an entire season, the games where you do manage to fluke a 1-0 win, they will mean a lot to you, and it'll just be a really satisfying career. Now, the last tip we have is that Create a Club is probably one of the most underrated ways of giving career mode a breath of fresh air. For sure, check out some real teams in your first few saves on the game, but the real fun comes from creating abandoned, forgotten, or now defunct teams that will never be on FIFA again. I've made a series over the past couple of years where I recommended a team for every single league using the FIFA 22 and FIFA 23 Create a Club system. While there are a few changes now, I think some of the kits now have sponsors and there's maybe a few more stadiums for us to pick. You can go back and have a look at these and see if you can get an idea for a Create a Club save that you're interested in. I did a poll a couple of days ago where I asked how many people still use Create a Club, and it seems like about 10% of people have actually used it in the last year. This is so far below where I thought it would be because I use it all the time when I'm not doing career modes for YouTube. I really enjoy making local teams, maybe teams that I've been on holiday and I've seen their stadiums, or teams from leagues that aren't on the game, moving them to a league that is on the game, and then simulating to see how they do. I've done this with teams in Skye, which is a place in Scotland when I went on holiday there, created a team for them, put them in Scotland. I've done it with islands from Greece, putting them in the Italian league. I've done it with Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, so many of these tiny nations, even San Marino and Andorra in the past. Once you start getting bored of career mode on EA Sports FC, I really do recommend you give Create a Club a go. So that's the 7 things I think you should know before you even open EA Sports FC. You should know about the youth development, you should know how to avoid improving too fast, you should know that AI isn't actually that difficult to beat, you should know that you should set yourself challenges and goals if you want a fun career mode, you should know that storylines are a great way of adding these challenges, and that winning isn't everything, and how important Create a Club can be once you start getting bored of the game. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Check out the playlist in the video on screen right now because I think you'll enjoy them more than this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.